we started with different types of scaffolds, and now we are dealing with systems scaffolding. Sometimes these system scaffolding, they are referred to as modular scaffolding. And it consists of primarily of vertical and horizontal pre-engineered components that connect together in a systematic fashion. You know, systems scaffolding is an umbrella term that includes many different types of scaffolding that can be used to create standardized scaffolding base. And we're going to discuss some of the most popular ones. It's called a system because it is a connection of different components of scaffolds, connection of standards, connection of ledgers and potlucks in a standardized, systemized way. That is why it is called systems scaffolding. So we're going to look at different types of systems scaffolding and what they are used for in construction. Okay. Excuse me. This is a typical example of system scaffolds. You can see that they are connected in a pattern, and you can see that they are the same scaffolding members, the standards, the ledgers, the potlucks, and here in addition, platforms where people can stand. Now, another popular type of system scaffolding is called cuplock systems scaffolding. This type of system scaffolding is popular for its ability to support heavy loads. You know, with cuplocks at every 500 millimeter to 1000 millimeters, this type of scaffolding creates highly standardized systems that work well for scaffolding designs with repeated patterns. You know, it is this repeating of the same patterns that gives its name systems scaffold. This is a typical example of system scaffolding, cuplock system scaffolding. You know, sometimes in an interior space, you want to work on in a particular place that you need a very stable platform to stand on. System scaffolding comes and will be very, very useful for that type of work. I'm sure that some of us have seen this type of scaffold, but not necessarily in this manner, but maybe this one on the right here now, something like this. You might have seen it somewhere. This particular one is like a member. You can lift it out of this place, and this one is connected to that one. This one is connected to that one. And it's when you add all of them together that you form this cuplock systems scaffolding. Sometimes the legs of this kind of cuplock system scaffolding can be a wheel. Instead of having this flat bar here as the base, it can be a wheel in such a way that in a space where they are used, they can be moved from one location or the other on tires. Another type of system scaffolding is called quick stage scaffolding. They are both used for commercial and residential application. And quick stage scaffolding is both easy to erect, and it is relatively adaptable to different kinds of conditions. This type of scaffolding, you just require 5 components. And these components are very, very easy to assemble and at the same time disassemble them on a site. Now, on a non-slip platforms and double guard rails is included with quick stage, just to improve its safety and reliability. This is an example of quick stage scaffolding. You can see that it has the ledgers, it has the standards, it has these diagonal members. These diagonal members is just to be able to stiffen the system. And you can see it has a scaffold board, and then has a toe board. This toe board is just to be able to fix the scaffold board, something that will make it sit properly on the platform. And also in quick stage scaffolding, you can have stairs. It can be a system that is used for vertical circulation for one part of the site to the other. You can move, and easy for workers to get to the platform where they will walk. It has staircase, it has handrails that you can use to access locations at the higher points on your building projects. Okay. Another type of system scaffolding is called Hackey scaffolding. It is called Hackey, both as a name is the name for the manufacturer, and it's a non-generic scaffolding system. Now, when you look at safety considerations, quality, and the adaptability of a scaffold, Hackey scaffolding is considered to be lighter, and it has fewer components than others. In Hackey scaffolding, the typical bear length measures up to 3 meters. And the system is approved for load class 6, making it into one of the more durable systems. You know, when you want to propose a scaffold for a particular project, you need to look at a lot of things. You also even need to look at what load is this scaffolding going to support. When you talk about the load, you talk about the load of the worker, the artisan, or whoever is going to stand on that scaffolding to do any work. And then you look at what kind of equipment are they using for that work? What kind of tools do they use at that height where they are working? And when you look at those things, you also need to look at what kind of building elements can you temporarily support on the scaffold before fixing it on any part of the building that you're working on. You know, when you look at all these things and you profile the loads of the people that are going to stand on the scaffold, the tools they're going to use while they are standing there, and also the building elements, the building systems that will be temporarily supported on that scaffold before it is fixed on any part of the building. So when you have that, you can be able to determine the type of scaffold you're going to use for that particular project. And this has been classified into different load classes. So it begins from load class 1, 2, 3, and the rest. So what we are saying here is that a Hackett scaffolding is approved for load class 6. It means that it can support heavy loads. This is a typical example of Hackett scaffolds. If you look at Hackett scaffold, you just discover that it looks similar to the scaffold that we just did before this one. I'm talking about a quick stage scaffolds, like we are looking at here. But if you look at this one, you just notice the differences between them. The diagonal members, this one, the diagonal members comes on both sides. And this particular member in the center is not the same with these ones at the edge. If you look at it, you will observe it very, very well. You can also discover that at the point where where someone will be walking, there's a major guardrails. As guardrails around this place to be able to support and prevent somebody from falling off accidentally. So this is an example of Hackett scaffolding. Remember that Hackett is the name of the manufacturer of this type of scaffolds. Another type of system scaffolding is called staircase towers scaffolding. Now, most of the manufacturers of system scaffolds, they usually create components, special components that can be used to build a staircase. Just like you saw in what I just showed you now, a quick stage scaffolding has a staircase component. Hackett scaffolding has a staircase component. So you just discover that system scaffolding is it's a system, which means it's a combination of different things that combines to make a scaffolding that can be used for a particular type of work. Oftentimes, these staircases, like we saw in the earlier ones we just discussed, they are a part of the scaffold structure that enables the workers to travel from one level to another level. But sometimes a stair tower is used on its own. This is a typical example of a staircase towers scaffolding. On the left, we're looking at it in 3 dimensions. Above right, we're looking at it as an elevation. And below, we are looking at it as a plan. While workers can stay on a staircase towards scaffold to work, it can also be used as a means of vertical circulation from one level of the building to another level of the building. If you look closely, you will see that just like the other ones, it has the standards, it has the ledgers, and then the diagonal members, they are used as handrails, while the ledgers, like you can see here, the ledgers are the ones that are used as guardrails, just to be able to hold somebody, to prevent somebody from falling off. Now we need to look at another type of systems scaffolding called frame and brace scaffolding. These type of scaffold, they are commonly used for residential and commercial applications, mostly in North America and also in Europe. The frame and brace scaffolding system is a type of modularized scaffolding, and it consists of frames, braces, planks, and bases. You know, usually the frames are the one that, the frames, when you look at the frames, is the standards, the ledgers, the portlogs. These are the what consists of the frames. And you know that once you place the the standard and place another standard at a distance and you connect it with ledgers, you also need to have braces. Braces is just to be able to give it, stiffen the system. Because you need to understand that this system is supposed to carry a human being that is working on the scaffold. They're supposed to also support the equipment that that person will be using to work. And at the same time, they also need to support whatever building elements that is being placed at a particular height. So these are the things that you need to consider before you determine the type of scaffold that you're going to use for a particular project. Let me give you an example. Now, you are working on a building project and you are working on the fourth floor. And you just discover that the particular type of there's a particular part of your building where the beam or the column or the slab is where it bulged when they were casted, which means a particular part of the beam or the column or the floor need to be cut off, need to be chiseled out of the building. Now, there's a particular type of machine called chiseling machine. This chiseling machine is heavy. And it's something that vibrates when you're using it. So first of all, someone needs to transport that chiseling machine to that height where you are supposed to work. And even before you start working, that particular machine will be placed maybe on the platform, on the base of where you're standing. And then you get ready, prepare the place, and then you start your work. And as you're using this type of chiseling machine, it vibrates as you're trying to cut, because you're trying to cut off concrete. So as you're standing on that scaffolding, it's vibrating. So you need to understand that for a human being to stay there and do that work at that height, you need to have enough confidence that you are safe. And if you're standing on that platform and the scaffolding is shaking forward and moving backwards, there's no how you can concentrate adequately and do that work. So it's very, very important that these scaffolds are stiff and firm. And it is the system that gives it that character of stiffness. This frame and brace scaffolding is very light, and at the same time, it can be erected very quickly. But at the same time, you need to understand that this type of scaffolding is not as strong as the other systems scaffolding. This is an example of frame and brace scaffolding. if you look closely, you will see the staircase. If you look at the right corner here, you see the staircase that is moving from one level to another level, moving from one level to another level, just to enable workers for vertical circulation. If you look closely, you will also see these planks here, and these planks here, just to be able to support loads. And the loads that are being supported are loads of the workers, loads of the tools that they're working with, and loads of the building systems they are trying to install at that particular location. When you look towards your left again, you will see another staircase. If you look closely, you will see the diagonal members. You see the standards standing. You see the ledgers, and you also see the diagonal members. Diagonal members, these are the members that gives stiffness to the entire systems. Another type of scaffolding that we want to look at, side system scaffolding that we'll be dealing with, is called suspended or swing set scaffolding. Suspended or swing set scaffolding. This type of scaffolding consists of a platform, and this platform is suspended by a cable system. This cable system allows the platform to climb up and down to various heights. You know, this suspended or swing set scaffolding, in some places, like in high-rise buildings, they use the term cleaning cradle. I'm sure that some of us might have seen a cleaning cradle before. Cleaning cradle is what is used to clean the glass facade of high-rise buildings. Sometimes you might wonder, a building that is 30 stories, 40 stories, 50 stories, and the entire facade of that building is cutting wall. Over time, you should be wondering, how will this facade be cleaned? Because from over time, it will get dirty. So there is a system that is called cleaning cradle. Usually this cleaning cradle might have something like a boom. And this boom is what sticks out. And then cable drops from that boom. And on that cable is supporting a platform, a car. So this system moves up and down the facade of that particular building to be able to clean that curtain wall. I'm sure that you might have seen it somewhere, even in movies. I'm sure you must have seen something like that. So that system, that is what we call suspended or swing set scaffolding. You need to understand that, assuming you have a 40-story building or a 50-story building, let me give an example now. In Lagos here, in Marina, that's a very busy part of Lagos. And you want to clean the facade, the curtain wall facade, from the ground floor to the 50th floor. So if you assume that your floor height, your headroom for each floor is 3 meters, and you have 50 floors, which means if you say 50 by 3, which means you're looking at 150 meters high. So with that height, I want you to try to visualize on that busy marina, you are trying to set scaffolds there. You are trying to set scaffold that will travel 150 meters vertically. You all will agree with me that this is practically impossible for you to do at that location. What it simply means that if you do that, the entire street the entire activity in that place will come to a standstill just for you to be able to place a scaffold to do the cleaning at that height. So for that purpose, suspended or swing set scaffolding is what is used. So most times, those high-rise buildings, they have this suspended or swing set scaffolding as part of the building. They are supposed to be part of the building architecture. Sometimes you will see high-rise buildings with something like beams sticking out at the last floor, sticking out. Most times, those things are where the swing set scaffold travels around the building to be able to clean the facade at each location. And like I said here, that this type of scaffold, they can provide significant savings on very tall structures that need light duty access, like ongoing building maintenance and small improvement. Just I try to explain here. You need to be able to look at it objectively. You have that kind of high-rise building, and you have maybe LED lights. You use LED lights on the facade to create design. And you discover that on the 30th floor, part of the LED lights, they're no longer working. And you need to replace those lights there. So what kind of scaffold are you going to use to get to that height to be able to do that? And that is where the suspended or swing set scaffolding comes in. And on most of these high-rise buildings, they are pre-installed as part of the building elements, and they are called cleaning cradle. I think for today, we'll stop here while I take your questions. If you have any question, put it across. Send it as on our chat box. I'd like to repeat myself again, just to give a summary of the questions.
Okay, welcome guys. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
Like I said earlier, bricklayers of single scaffolding, they are popular in Nigeria. Messing or double scaffolding, they commonly use steel or tubular scaffolding, needle or cantilever scaffolding. These ones are very, very popular in Nigeria. So like you can see, this is what I was trying to explain.
Get a real-time questions and clarifications, so do that. The other tutorials